Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
The band Brass Pair is playing this Saturday at the Keswick Tavern at 117 South Iron Street in Keswick. Brass Pair will be playing all your favorite hits live Saturday, March 22nd from 8 to midnight, and there's no cover charge. Come have a fun night with Brass Pair performing at the Keswick Tavern this Saturday night. And welcome in. It's time for the sports section on a Saturday morning. We are live at Barn Wired at 119 East Marion Street in Sigourney. You can call in if you need to at 641-622-9912. Stop in for some breakfast and some coffee to get you going on a Saturday morning. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We are going to start things off with our springtime host, Jenny Hobbs. And Jenny, you've got Aaliyah Cooper with you from HLVTC, and I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, Aaliyah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Have you already got your workout in for today?
Nope.
Oh, good. Well, anyway, so here we have Aaliyah Cooper, and she's been really busy this spring so far. Just go ahead. We'll get right into it. What have you done recently on the oval?
Well, I went to the University of Iowa to run at Iowa Games, and it was really exciting. It was a different experience. The track was banked, which I've never ran on a banked track, and it was really hard. The competition was there, and I wasn't expecting it, but there wasn't very many in my age group, so it was pretty easy. It was just me and another girl running against each other. And then not long ago, we went to Pella for Central's USA Track and Field State Championship, and I ran the 60, the 2, and the 4, and the 800. Ooh. I got second in my 60, second in my 200, and then I was the champion for the 4 and the 8. That was a lot of achievement felt, and that was very exciting, and now school season started.
Well, now you're in shape for school season.
Yep.
I think this time of year is always the toughest to get. Right after basketball, you kind of take it easy, and it's such a different kind of shape from basketball into track. So wow, you're way ahead of the competition. So are you in a track club that you're part of, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm with Southern Iowa Track and Field.
So where's that based out of? Who's the coaches? Tell us a little bit about that club.
Well, I started last year, and my friend Nat from North Mahaska.
Oh yeah, we've had her on here.
She sent me a picture of her on a track right after state track, and I was like, whoa, what is that? And she was like, oh, it's Southern Iowa Track and Field with Alexis. And I was like, okay, well, give me your number. I want to do it. So then I messaged the coach, and she was like, oh, yeah, we'd love to have you. And then it all starts in Oski. We run at the old school, and then normally our track meets are on Sundays, and we practice on our own.
Hey, there you go. So let's talk about times. Are you happy with your times right now? Or early in the season, yes, you're probably not super happy with them, but
yeah.
If you've been working out all winter, what are you thinking?
Well, I haven't ran my event yet, the D-Med, the 4x4, and my 400 hurdles, because we've mostly been indoors, so they don't do that. But I haven't really got the chance to see my times for that since I've only ran 200s and 800s and all of that. So we'll see on Tuesday if my times are good.
So do you get hurdle work in when
Yes.
you're with your coach and your club?
Yeah, I mostly do it myself, but because there's a lot of kids. There's kids from 8 years old up to 18, so she has a lot of work to do, but I normally just work with myself.
Okay, so what does that entail? Do you go to the weight room? And I know Tri-County has a new track now outside, but it's been winter, so it's kind of hard to get outside.
Yeah.
So what do your workouts look like?
Well, normally I just go to the track and I do some wickets, and then I do some snap downs on the hurdles, and then normally for actual track practice we do 60-meter dashes, 150s to 250s, a variety of those, 4 reps to 10 reps. Mm-hmm. So for my hurdles, I just set up 3, and then I go over 3 because I don't want to do a full 400 yet because I'm not in shape for that. So I could do the first 2 and then run the last 2 without hurdles, which is the worst workout ever. But it helps me a lot with my stamina and helps me be able to get that speed and agility back so that I'm ready for actual season coming up. So that's a lot of like excitement to do, also knowing that season is coming and that competition will be here, and then all of this leads up to like state track and districts, and I'm just super excited for what's to come.
It's awesome. So tell us about your year. Did you play volleyball? What have you done this school year?
Well, I played volleyball, and then I did basketball, and basketball was so much fun. We had our new coach, Nick Bloom, and it was just a different experience than last year's basketball season, but track is here, and I'm so excited.
Are you going to play softball?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk future now. You're a senior and graduating. Where are you going to go to school? Not that you have to go to school, but...
Well, my first plan was go to Iowa Central, but that's about 3 hours away from my entire family, so I decided to stay closer to home, and now I'm going to hair cosmetology school in Cedar Rapids at Capri, and I'm very excited for that. I've always been the person to like to do hair and all this for their friends, and I'm just excited to what that brings for me.
We should have met a little earlier so you could have done my hair.
Me too.
So you're not going to run track in college or anything like that?
Nope.
No, that's good. That's fine. So you said that we're going to go off sports for a second. You said that you guys are going on a class trip. So Tri-County seniors. How many seniors do you have in your class?
Oh, like 13.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know.
And I feel you. I teach at Kyoto. Where are you guys going?
We're going to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, and you're just going to hang out and look at museums and...
Yep, stuff like that. School related.
Okay. So all these sports that you've played in high school, give us your favorite, not necessarily your favorite sport, because we don't want to, make anybody's coaches feel bad, but your favorite moment. Like what really was just like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome. And I'll always look back and remember that.
Honestly, probably state track last year. It was just so much fun. Like all our younger kids were so excited, and just like the adrenaline rush that we all had. And I placed 8th at state, and Emma was our champion, and our DMed was 9th, and our 4x4 was somewhere. I don't even remember what we placed. But it was just so much fun to be there with our different team other than Tri-County. The girls there, we just clicked instantly, and felt like we knew each other for several years when we really only have known each other for a couple months. But if you walked into a room and saw all of us, you would probably think we've been to the same school as each other since preschool, which is not true, but we are really close friends, and track probably just brought us together the most, I feel. And
there's a lot of downtime.
Yes.
Lots of downtime. Okay, so let's get back to track. Okay, 400 hurdles. And I know you ran a 109 last year at state, maybe?
I ran a 108.11.
Okay, well, my bad. Look at that. So I must have looked at prelims or something. Or to qualify. Anywho, what's your goal?
I hope I can break a 67. To qualify for Drake Relays, I have to run a 65 or a high 66, so I really hope I can get lower to that time and possibly break my own records again. So I'm excited for that too. But if I don't get it, it's okay, because state track will come along, and I know I can qualify for that.
Okay. Say, because 400 hurdles is that's one of the toughest events ever. Not very many people volunteer to run that. So it was, speaking of that, was it a volunteer thing, or your coach goes, hey, you know what, Aaliyah? You'd be really good at that.
Well, my sophomore year, we didn't really have anyone to qualify for track at Tri-County. So my coach, Andy Thomas, came up to me and said, hey, we'd really like to see if you could qualify for this. And it was 2 meets before the district's meet. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll try. And I ran it, and I was like, wait, this is really fun. And then I kept running it, and then I qualified for state track on that. And then ever since then, it's just been oh, this is my go-to event. I couldn't see myself not doing it.
I do have a cool story about the 400 hurdles. This girl that I had coached in junior high in Ames, she, really fast, her freshman year, she finished second, and then 100, 200, 400 at state. And her coach was like, we really want you to get a state championship. And there's this really fast girl that she kept getting second to. So like, how about you run the 400 hurdles? So at districts was the first time she ever ran 400 hurdles, and she won. And then at state, the second time she had ever ran 400 hurdles, she won state. Just because she was so fast in between, because she super fast. Anyway, she ran. Then she went on to run track at Iowa State. But anyway, yeah, that's my story about the 400 hurdles. Yeah, that. Other than that, then Edwin Moses was the greatest 400 hurdler of all time. Do you even know who Edwin Moses is?
No.
Okay, look him up seriously.
Okay.
Greatest 400 hurdler of all time. Anywho, all right, so we have goals. Good. What gets you ready for a meet?
Probably a good go-go squeeze and a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
There we go. Okay, what flavor of go-go squeeze?
Regular cinnamon, actually, yeah, cinnamon, applesauce, or strawberry. I love it.
Oh, cinnamon is good for your blood sugar level, so it's probably, oh my God, that's the key, everybody. Cinnamon applesauce go-go squeeze.
Or an Oreo cookie with ice cream in the middle at Iowa Valley, because I PR'd.
Oh, I tell you what, between Iowa Valley and BGM, they have the best concession stands, don't they?
Yes.
I mean, like legendary. I don't know, Eddyville's is pretty good at the Bosco sticks, but anyway, I coach junior high track, so I know the concession stands well. What else do we need to talk about? Steve, you have any other questions?
I was just going to ask, obviously, is Tri-County and HLV, do they team up for track?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure on that. And then we were also talking, before we went on today, we were talking about long distance runs. Do you do anything other than what you do in track? Do you do like a 5K? Do you do any cross country stuff?
No.
Okay.
No.
More of the shorter stuff.
Yes.
The short bursts.
You don't just get an idea and go, I think I'm going to go out for a jog.
Well, yeah, but I don't think I could see myself running like a 10K and being good at it. I'd probably be walking at the very end.
Actually, true story, and you can even ask Toby about this. We're listening to the radio coming over here this morning, and they talked about like half marathons, longer distances. It is okay to walk because you actually sometimes when you're walking fast, you're actually walking faster than when you're slow jogging. So, and then your body can recover a little bit, so then you can run faster then. He ended like, it's okay to walk. I'm like, oh my gosh, as a track coach, no, it's not. No walking. But anyway, I thought that was funny that we listened to that on the way over here this morning. So, state, how many events you guys think you're going to qualify for?
I hope I go for 4. Last year, I qualified for the distance medley. I ran the 400 in that, and then the 4x4 and the 400. So I had 3 400s, which was tiring, but they were all separate days. But I hope this year we qualify a lot more events. We qualified 6 last year, I think. So I hope we at least try to get our sprint med. We were 1 spot away last year, but if we don't, then hopefully our 4x8 is in good condition.
Well, yeah, with Emma back,
Yeah.
I'm thinking you guys can be placing at state as
Yeah.
a team.
Hopefully.
I mean, I think top 8, right?
Hopefully.
I would realistically have that as a goal, is
Yeah.
top 8, and Emma getting 10 points in the high jump, and you're gonna be getting some points. Ayla and Emery, and anyway,
Yeah.
we need to get Mark my word, HLV, Tri-County, placing at state, top 8 as a team.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it.
Did we give a shout out to any teammates yet?
A couple, but go ahead.
All right.
Well, we got Emma and Ayla and Lily and Emery. We got a bunch of them. They're probably the ones I'd give the most shout outs to because they've put in the most dedication to it. They've always been there, and they're just a really good group of girls and a really good group of teammates, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Like our distance medley group, I wouldn't want to have anyone else in it, or our 4x4. I think our 4x4 is solid, so I don't think they need to switch anything.
You hear that, Coach? Okay. Speaking of that, who is your coach?
Austin Roberts, and we have Chase Sternhagen, and then we have Devin Maxfield, and then Nicole and Andy and
What?
Marina. We just have a bunch of coaches, but
Jeez, we got one at Kyoto for everything. But well, that's good. And you know what? Anytime you have a good program and good kids, that invites all the volunteer coaches, and so that's a testament to you guys that all these coaches want to help, and because they see that you guys are going to be good. So yeah, everybody wants to help good kids, right?
And I got one more question. Do I remember seeing that you did you run at an event in like Texas or something like
Yes.
that last year?
last year I qualified for nationals in Texas at Texas A&M Stadium, and I ran the 400 hurdles there.
Cool.
But I was ranked like 63rd because there was over 200 people in just the hurdles. And I went down 20 spots, and I placed 43rd overall in the nation. So I was proud of that, even though it might not have felt the best that I was that high. But I was just excited to have that experience and be able to go there, because we drove there. We got to our airport. We were at the wrong airport. We had to go to a different airport. We missed our flight. And then we had to get a one-way ticket for over $1,000. And then our ticket back was like $500, and it was a mess, but I got to go, and I was so tired in the car, and I just woke up and I was like, I'm here, I have to run, you have to do this, Aaliyah. And so I did, but I was half asleep, very much.
Sleepwalking.
There you
Sleep
go.
running.
Yes.
Don't even feel the pain, right? And I know you guys, you could probably see on camera that how much bigger I am than her. But I would say that you are not a typical 400 hurdler.
No.
We just had an Olympic year, so Sydney McLaughlin, and I love the Olympics, by the way.
Me too.
God, I cannot get enough of the Olympics. She's like 6 foot, 5'10", 6
Yeah.
foot, long legs. So what powers you? I mean, what makes you a great hurdler, being, I don't know,
4'11".
5 foot.
Yeah.
So what makes you a great hurdler?
I guess just having the stamina, and honestly, going up to the first hurdle is probably the hardest hurdle. And then the last hurdle is just the biggest relief because I'm closer to the finish line. But I don't know, just being able to jump over and get that speed back and then go into the next hurdle. I have some time in between hurdles to get like my stamina back and be able to jump again. But there's 10 hurdles, so I'm going to have to jump either way. So it's a lot of fun. I love it, which I don't know how I didn't do it sooner, which I've only done it for 2 years. So
Because you didn't do 200 hurdles in junior high, did you?
nope, I
didn't
never
think so.
ran hurdles in junior high because 7th grade year was COVID for me, so I only had my 8th grade year of track. So I normally only ran 400s, and that was about it.
I remember all you guys during junior high track, beating us. But no, actually, we won quite a bit. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
And I am always cheering for you guys, and best of luck. And then after you guys, I don't know, win the Class 1A state title this spring, maybe we'll have you back on. How about that?
Hopefully.
That'd be awesome.
And bring all your medals with you too.
Okay, I'll bring them all.
Bring them all. Just in a dump truck. Dump them here. And we'll have you back on the show. So, Aaliyah Cooper, thank you so much for getting up early on a Saturday and being a guest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And best of luck with
luck.
track this year, and of course with your college as well. So, Aaliyah Cooper from HLVTC Track hanging out with us this morning on the sports section. We are live at Barnwired. We're going to take a break, and then we've got Aiden Reeves coming in next. Schedule your next dental appointment with Dr. Dan Schuster at Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. They're accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all of your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta dental provider. And Oski Dental is located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. We make smiles happen at Oski Dental.
Attention Iowa business owners. Is your business missing sales because you're too busy to follow up? Every missed call or delayed message could be costing you money. At Easy Biz Tech, we help local businesses stay ahead by automating customer follow-up, so no lead gets left behind. Missed a call? Our system texts back instantly. Need personalized outreach? We send automated texts, emails, and even use AI-powered voice agents to connect with your customers 24/7. Stop losing money because of slow follow-up. Contact Easy Biz Tech today, where Iowa businesses win online.
Find your Iowa dream home with AE Realty in Montezuma. With unparalleled industry knowledge, experience, and local expertise, AE Realty is the Montezuma real estate expert you've been looking for. Whether you're buying or selling, AE Realty can help you get the best deal. You can find AE Realty at 321 East Main Street in Montezuma. Call 641-623-2639 or online at www.aerealtyinc.com.
Looking for more than just a job? Find a career where you make a difference right in your community.
What I appreciate about First Resources is our dedication to innovation, always looking for ways to expand programming and offer greater opportunities for our staff and everyone involved.
First Resources staff are amazing. They're committed and they are motivated and they are fierce advocates to help clients meet their goals.
If you're ready to join a team committed to making a difference, apply online and join us at First Resources.
All righty, we are back here live at Barnwired in Sigourney for the sports section. We do this every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. We're live at Barnwired. Stop in for some breakfast, some coffee to get you going on a Saturday morning. We just had Aaliyah Cooper in from HLVTC Track. She was a fantastic guest, and we follow her up with Mr. Aiden Reeves. We had Aaliyah looking all pretty for us this morning. Now we've got the bearded wrestler in hanging out with us, Aiden Reeves. Jenny Hobbs is our host. Jenny, take it away.
Well, you know, I've always been a huge fan of you, Aiden, and so let's just go through, I don't know, your whole life right now. And we want to say he did just win the national championship in AIA at Grandview, 125 pounds, and it's been a road. So tell us a little bit about your high school career, like, you know, where you went to high school, you know, 3-time state champion, or 2-time.
Yeah,
two-time. Anyway, go ahead. Just start from the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, I grew up and I started wrestling here in Sigourney with, and I could talk about for hours about, like, you know, the long-standing family tradition, essentially, it is to participate in the sport. So super fortunate to grow up in training here under, you know, my Uncle Craig Reeves, under the direction of my father as well, competing with all my cousins who competed throughout high school in Sigourney as well. And then in 8th grade, we moved to Albia, kind of saw an opportunity to really continue to grow and develop in the sport. So I attended Albia High School. Was fortunate enough to win 2 state titles at Albia. You know, I really had a great experience there, being able to come kind of back and forth during high school too and continue to train at Sigourney and still feel welcomed by the community was super great. And then coming out of high school, I was given the chance to wrestle at Iowa State University, so I attended there for about 2.5 years. And then ultimately decided that it was I needed a little bit of a different environment to continue to develop as an athlete and, more importantly, an individual. And that's when I kind of made the decision. That would have been in 2022 to transfer to Grandview University. And was fortunate the way it worked out with COVID and some injuries and other circumstances. I was able to have essentially a full career at Grandview. So it's been a crazy journey, you know, wrestling for it's been almost 20 years now.
I was going to say, how's the body holding up?
You know, it's been a ride. I've been super fortunate these last couple years to remain healthy, but, you know, throughout the course of that, I've had 3 ACL reconstructions. So it's been a ride, and it's been, you know, challenging, obviously physically, but psychologically as well, coming back off of that. But I think that's where, you know, I probably saw the most growth as an individual, being able to kind of go through those trials and be challenged, not only, like I said, physically, but psychologically as well. It's been a crazy journey.
Say wrestling, you know, college for 6 seasons. I can't even imagine the wear and tear on your body. So let's talk about your Grandview experience. So this year's national champion, what did you place in other years or?
Yeah, so last year I lost first round and had to battle all the way back and ended up getting third. The year prior was behind two really solid guys. The NAI is a little bit unique where you can qualify 12 individuals in the national tournament and there's 10 weights.
Oh.
So you have the opportunities to take multiple guys at a certain weight. So my first year at Grandview was behind the guy who got first and third, Esco Walker and Justin Portillo, really talented guys that were great mentors as well. That second year at Grandview, I had my third ACL reconstruction, so I was off that entire year. I was kind of able to transition to a role where I was more of a coaching role, just kind of sticking around the team, continuing to help out in any way that I could. And I think that was huge for my development to kind of take a step back and see the sport from a different perspective. And then, the junior year finishing third, and then, finally being able to close it out with a national title is really special.
And a team title.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's that's been the most remarkable part about the experience is just, we have a huge roster. We've probably got, 65, 70 guys, which is really unique. The NAI allows, there's essentially no roster cap. So we've got so many different individuals from so many different backgrounds that are all somewhat, everybody's got different experiences and life experiences and such, but you're able to kind of mesh and work towards a common goal, and that creates a really special environment that fosters not only development on the mat, but development as individuals, as men, and I've been super fortunate to be a part of it.
So do you, with all the guys on the team, do you wrestle a lot of open tournaments so everybody can wrestle, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we've got a really tough schedule, especially considering we're an NAI team. We're exposed to a lot of D1 competition, D2, D3, NAI. So we've got a ton of opens throughout the year, and then that second half of the year is more duels, and then you work into the postseason stuff. But they do a great job of providing opportunities for everybody to compete, especially with such a large roster. I'm sure it's difficult to kind of get everybody those opportunities, but they do a great job about it. We've got a ton of tournaments early in the season, so it's great.
Okay, so we'll go back to the wrestling part, but what's next? What are you going to do next? You got to be a doctor by now, right?
TBD, right? Yeah.
You have 6 years of college education behind you?
So I'm finishing up. I was able to actually finish up my undergrad a little bit early. It was the year I was injured, so I was able to take a little bit of time off of school there, and then decided to go back, and I'm getting my graduate degree in sports management. So down the line, I want to coach. Where at exactly and what level is to be determined, but prior to transferring to Grandview, I really had no idea what I wanted to get into, and then I started to realize the impact that those coaches specifically had on me and my development as a man. And then I started to really reflect on all the selfless individuals that poured into me over the years in order for me to be in the position that I was. So, and that's when I really realized that's what I'm passionate about, is I want to continue to give that back to the best of my ability. So, coaching's really what I feel like is my calling, and where at and exactly what that looks like is to be determined. But I'm pretty passionate about that.
Good. So are you looking for GA spots?
Yeah. So there's a lot to figure out. I feel like I'm in a really good spot in terms of growing as a coach in the program that I'm at with led by Nick Mitchell, Paul Reedy, and the staff at Grandview, the phenomenal individuals who's had a ton of success, but most importantly have a ton of success in putting guys in the best position to succeed as men or in the rest of their life. So I think the plan as of right now is to stick around and continue to develop under Coach Mitchell and coach and help out the program, and then kind of go from there.
And I've always thought, because I was a walk-on bench player at Iowa State, and I always thought the best coaches were the ones that had to sit a year because they're hurt, or at the end of the bench because they see everything. When you're the all-star always in it, you don't quite understand all the background stuff that goes into it. So, and I'm sure that just made you a better athlete as well, mentally and physically, as you're rehabbing. I just feel, for example, I'll just throw it out there, Steve Alford, being a coach. Yeah, he succeeded some places, but he was awful at Iowa. And Michael Jordan was an awful coach. They've always been the all-star. They don't see how it's developed. They want everybody to be at their level.
Right, and that's what But as you're kind of working through those situations, it's really difficult to kind of understand what you always, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And it's in the moment, it's really hard to remove yourself and see what the benefits of going through 3 full ACL reconstructions or this injury, that injury, being off the mat for this and that. But being able to take a step back now and reflect upon it, those are probably the best things that could have happened to me. And then moving forward as a coach, I've gone through a lot of those things that the athletes are going to have to experience, all the trials and the tribulations and the setbacks. So I think that does, you drilled it. It's, gives you a little bit of a different perspective, and being able to level with guys that are going through that, I think will be really beneficial.
Do you have any advice for, young wrestlers, maybe a young female wrestler or anything? Do you have any advice for, kids now? Maybe something that you didn't necessarily, maybe you look back on and say, gosh, I wish I didn't do that, and this is what maybe you should do. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I think, man, that gets into a lot of different things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know
question, but the thing that I would probably focus on the most is not being super result oriented especially when you first get into the sport. Coaching at the youth level for a while now, there's so many kids that want to win right away, and really it comes down to like developing the ability to learn and take direction and respond to authority. That's when, as soon as you develop that, then you're really going to see a lot of growth in whatever sport it is, whatever facet of your life, really. So I would just, my recommendations to young wrestlers that are looking to kind of blaze their own path is that just develop the ability to learn, to take direction from individuals, and just be grateful for the opportunity to compete, and to participate in such an amazing sport that is really a transformational sport, in my opinion, and just be grateful for it. Because I look back at all the sacrifices that my family made, my parents made, just in order for me to be able to compete. And that's something I think that I probably took for granted when I was coming through and starting wrestling.
Good. Steve, questions?
I was going to say, I just was I caught an eye full of your ears.
Yeah, it's
How are
hard to
your
hear.
ears holding up?
It's hard to hear, man. It's hard to hear.
Is it?
No, it's good. The
cauliflower ears.
Yeah, it's funny. It's essentially like a badge of honor for us
It
wrestlers,
is.
right? It's they hurt like hell, and it's not.
I don't know a good wrestler without them. So
at this point, it's pretty set in stone. But yeah, it's a badge of honor, and it's just attributed to a lot of time on the mat.
Yeah, it just happens if you're a wrestler.
For sure. You just kind of got to accept it at a certain point.
Let's see here. I had some other stuff on my mind. I was going to get your general thoughts. Girls wrestling has really taken off over the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
What are your just general thoughts on
I think
girl
it's great.
wrestling?
I think it's great. It's been great to kind of work with some of the girls that are starting out, and I think it's the fastest growing sport, high school sport in the entire country right now. And that's great, just like providing girls the opportunity to develop within that sport. Like I said, I view wrestling as a truly transformational sport. If you really commit to it, like it not only helps you succeed as an athlete, it translates to other sports and other disciplines, but most importantly, like the difficulty and the physicality of the sport really challenges you psychologically and challenges you to grow as an individual. And I'm glad that there is, continue to be increased opportunities for girls to step into that realm and really develop as women. And just, I think it's super important for girls' confidence as well. Obviously it's a super physical sport. Like you're really exposed when you're wrestling, right? It's you and another individual, and there's nowhere to point when things don't go right. And I think being able to take that upon yourself and really like toe the line, right? I think that's huge for the confidence, especially for young women. So it's great to see, the exponential growth in that part of the sport in women's wrestling, and I'm looking forward to work with a lot of girls coming through. And girls compared to the guys sometimes are a little bit easier to work with because there's not this I think sometimes
they're easier to be. I think they're more coachable.
Yeah, I mean,
they're open for suggestions.
Exactly, and the girls that are involved in wrestling, there's not, for the most part, in my experience thus far, there's not this like overwhelming pressure for maybe like a parent or another family member to get involved, right? Like, for the most part, they are deciding to take. This isn't the traditional course for women's sport, right? So when you have a girl that's really committed to wrestling, like she cares and she wants to be there, and that makes it super easy to work with from a coaching perspective.
Who would have knew all these girls had all this aggression in them for it to be wrestlers?
Any parent who has
and I always try to get it out of them on the basketball court. Yeah. Let's get a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I know. Wish we'd been around.
But yeah,
when we were growing up, I think my sister would have been pretty good at it. She's way meaner than I am. Way meaner.
I will tell you a couple wrestling stories of me because my mom did not let me wrestle, obviously, because, well, you know, in the 80s, wrestling, you know, but I was a big tomboy, so I wanted to play football and all that stuff. But anyway, so my very first, I coached college in Nebraska, Kearney, and so one of our workouts was in the weight room.
Yeah.
Doing some plyos, you know, easier on the legs and all that stuff. So I was like, you know, with my team, and I this is like my second day as an assistant coach. I'm like, hey, does anybody want to wrestle me? You know, and they're like, and one of them was like, I will. So boom, I just went, boom, got, boom. And they're like, I was like, anybody who's next? And they're like,
Everybody took a step back.
they're like, she's from Iowa. She knows how to wrestle.
That's awesome. Yeah, Kearney's had a phenomenal program for a long time.
Yeah.
A really long time.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to you brought up mental aspect. So what do you do before a match? Every athlete, every sport takes a different mental approach. Some people watch, some people are riding the bike, some people are down the tunnel. Like what do you do before a match?
Yeah, that's obviously it's different with every individual. Me personally, I'm kind of wired the way it is. So like the majority of my self-talk and the mental aspect of it prior to going on the mat is getting myself to relax. Because I found if I continue to like hyper focus on the task at hand, then like I physically feel my body tightening up. It's crazy the link, between your psychological and what your body responds there. So for me, it's having fun, enjoying, really like being where my feet are, enjoying just the opportunity I have, messing around with the coaches and the other amazing individuals I have, surrounding me. And yeah, I think the main thing is just focus on being grateful for the opportunity and then ultimately like kind of surrendering the outcome. You can think about all the work you've put in up to that point, but like ultimately it just comes down to who scores more points in 6 or 7 minutes. So, I surrender the outcome, like what will be is, it is what it is essentially. And I just go out and try to score as many points as I can.
How many years did it take you to get that attitude?
If I've been wrestling for 20 of them, it took 19. It's a continuous process. I still don't feel like I'm a master in that aspect, and it's such a psychological sport. When you really break it down, it's probably more of a psychological and mental challenge than it is a physical challenge. And then just the internal dialogue that happens within a wrestling match is kind of crazy. Actually, I'll tell a quick story. So I mentioned Grandview is unique and NAI is unique, where you have the opportunity to wrestle, qualify multiple people at a weight. So I actually ended up wrestling my teammate in the national finals. And
this year?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was a freshman. It was cool to kind of watch him develop, and that was our plan the whole time, was to wrestle the last match of the year. And it was crazy because when you're in that situation, obviously the fans and the coaches are super conflicted, right? So nobody's cheering. So we're out there wrestling the national finals, and it's like dead silent. And I couldn't believe how much my internal dialogue was amplified in that situation. Like I could recognize every single thought as it was coming in, and that just like speaks to how much of a psychological battle it is. And I didn't even realize it until I got into the situations. Like I'm fighting like the internal warfare essentially that's going on. You're like, a negative thought creeps in, you knock it out and replace it with something positive, and it's just that continuous process. So yeah, that just speaks to how mental, cerebral the sport is.
Do you guys practice that a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. We
So how do you practice mental toughness and mental approach?
Yeah, so I think a big part of it is like visualization, whether it be like in a practice setting or setting aside time in your day to really visualize and like, all right, here's what I'm going to do when this happens, or here's what and you can always make a plan. It's never going to go to plan, but like being able to walk yourself through certain scenarios, I think is huge. And then we're really big on like, affirmations, like saying things out loud. It's different when you take a thought and you speak it out loud, it becomes that much more real, right? And so we're as a team, we're really good about that, like the affirmations. And even if you don't believe it at first, you continue to say it, and then ultimately you do end up believing it. So I think that's a huge part of it. So, affirmations, and visualization, and then ultimately like putting yourself in tough situations. Therefore, when you do get there in a match or in a competition, you've been there before and you're able to handle it, and you kind of know how to go about it. So I think that would be the primary things that really help with the mentality.
Good. Well, Aiden, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I'm super proud of you. I've always followed along your career, and
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I don't know. Last week we had champions on. This week, a college champion. I don't know. It's pretty cool that our area, Southeast Iowa, has so many great kids and great young adults. And, well, you're a man now. You've been out of high school forever. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I'm so proud.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's
Yeah.
it's awesome to represent this community, and I just want to say thank you to all the people from Sigourney and Southern Iowa who's supported me throughout this journey. Like I said, there have been so many selfless individuals who've poured and poured and poured into me and expected nothing in return. So, all these accomplishments are a testament to those people, and everybody's like, oh, you put in all the work. We could have a 3-hour show and I could try and name everybody who's, had an impact on me in the sport and in my development. So, just want to take a second to say thank you to all those people. Like, I wouldn't be in the position that I am. I wouldn't be the man that I am without their influence. So thank you very much.
Hey, and thanks to your Aunt Stephanie for suggesting that I have
absolutely.
you as a guest.
Yeah.
Made that happen. That happened really quick. That was like me and you just sent messages, and it was like, bam, done.
I'm just grateful for any opportunity that I can get, and super excited to get on the mat with Cousin Nevaeh this afternoon and continue to give it back. So.
I tell you what, you are an extremely well-spoken person.
Yeah.
So whether you pursue coaching or whether you pursue
I'd hire him.
being a speaker, maybe you should just be a motivational speaker.
I appreciate that.
Bob and Aiden.
Yeah, 1 minute with Bob. Yeah, so great. I see great things in store for you in the future.
Thank you very much. I really
of course, I
appreciate
knew
that.
you when you were little, when you were here in Sigourney, and now it's great to see you again, once again a few years later. So. Aiden Reeves and Aaliyah Cooper have been our guests on today's sports section. Aiden, we're going to let you go. I know you got some family stuff to get to today. Great talking to you. And actually, stay there. We're going to get a picture with you during the commercial break.
All right.
We're going to take a commercial break. Jenny and I will be back. We'll talk about some NCAA basketball brackets and more right after this.
Build it together. Build it with Valley Lumber.
Are you building a new house or maybe wanting to do a remodel? Come check out our showroom at Valley Lumber and Hardware's Eddyville location. Cook kitchen cabinets, masonite interior doors, and more. Not sure what you want? Let us help with the design and layout of your new kitchen or remodel. At Valley Lumber and Hardware, we can help with any room in the house. From lumber for building to shower enclosures, paint, and more. Choose Valley Lumber and Hardware with locations in Eddyville and Albia.
We are always looking for ways to improve, and we do that by embracing new and better technologies.
With each of us having our own areas of expertise, we collaborate together to give you the best care possible.
Striving to give you the best smile, we believe doing things right the first time saves you both time and money.
The mission of Essence of Life Hospice is to provide comprehensive, coordinated care to individuals with life-limiting illnesses and to their families, and to support them in the process of death and bereavement. Our goal is to provide palliative care that addresses the physical, psychological, and spiritual dimensions of service for the terminally ill as an integrated whole. We pride ourselves on providing the highest quality care and are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, visit essencehospice.com.
Steuben from Tassel Ridge Winery is a very popular light, fruity, semi-sweet rosé wine with cherry and apple aromas and just a hint of cinnamon. It offers a spicy, tangy finish and is made entirely from Steuben grapes. Steuben is perfect as an aperitif with appetizers or with spicy dishes like Mexican or Asian stir-fry. This wine is best when served well chilled. Steuben is available at Tassel Ridge Winery and at some of our more than 350 retailers in Iowa.
Hey, we are back here live here on Steve Shuttler Media. We are doing the sports section live from Barnwired in downtown Sigourney, Iowa, 119 East Marion. Great place to get in here for some breakfast and some coffee on this Saturday morning. Well, I don't know who let this guy in. We've got another special guest. Jenny, who do you have with you?
This is Tobias Walter Flynn.
Tobias Walter. T-Dub.
Yeah,
as
T-Dub.
his friends like to say.
T-Dub. Yeah, this is Toby. And since we're going to talk about NCAA basketball brackets,
Is he the expert?
he kind of is. Wait till if you ever talk about the NFL draft combine and
Okay.
stuff, he knows every football player. But
He looks pretty confident.
oh yeah,
So NCAA.
Yes.
Let's talk some NCAA basketball.
well, first of all, the Iowa women played 11:30 this morning.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that because I like their chances. I really do. You know, win a couple games in the tournament. Usually the women's tournament, and we can all agree that South Carolina, you know, the regulars usually shine.
Sure, yeah.
And I, you know, Iowa State women played out really well yesterday and had a chance against Michigan, and you know, just kind of ran out of gas after having played that play-in game. But we can talk about the Iowa State men, and but Ole Miss looked tough.
Yeah, they did.
And because they are coached by Chris Beard, who had coached at Texas Tech, well, and then bolted for Texas, got in trouble. Anyway, long story. But he is defense, and Iowa State's been defense. So the Ole Miss Iowa State men's game is going to be a good one.
Yeah, you get into that second round and things get pretty serious pretty quick.
Well, yeah, you have a 3 seed versus a 6 seed already.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Yeah.
tough already.
I mean, even the first round anymore is
there's
if you win
no-
any games in the NCAA tournament, it's
Yeah,
impressive.
there's no easy games anymore, which, you know, then that gets back to NIL and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But overall,
How are your brackets looking right now? I'm sure you fill out a bracket or
I
two.
do. I actually, this year, the student council at Kyoto took over the bracket challenge, and I always ran one in my classroom.
Okay.
And the winners always happen to be somebody that knows nothing about basketball.
Yes, that's just the way it is.
It is. But so far, so good. There's hardly any upsets, or some of the upsets were predicted. So really, first round, no buzzer beaters except for one of the play-in games, and it was kind of, I don't know, nonchalant. What do you want to call it? Not.
How's your bracket looking, Toby?
I didn't fill one out.
You didn't
But
fill one out.
What's that?
Yeah, get the mic up there.
What was that team? I forget. But they beat a really good team this year.
Oh,
I forget.
Well, that narrows it down.
It's like, I don't know.
That
It's a
one team.
It's a horse. I remember that.
It's a horse.
And it's yellow and blue.
Ah, yes.
Oh, McNeese State.
McNeese State,
And
yeah.
I did.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I did pick that. And let's talk about Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I picked that.
Ben McCollum.
Yes.
I would assume, since DeVries went to Indiana,
still.
McCollum probably becomes the top guy for the Iowa job.
I would think Iowa Hawkeye fans are pushing that and maybe giving a little spin in Beth Getz's ear to say maybe we need Ben McCollum.
Do you think McCollum's price went up just a little bit with that first round win?
Oh, and I think every win. I think they can win the second round too. I think every win.
Yeah.
gives them a few more dollars in the bank.
Well, that should be good. As you mentioned, McNeese was an upset. Colorado State, this is going off the top of my head, was an upset. Drake was an upset.
If I could see anybody in the Final Four, I wanted to see Missouri versus Iowa State. Caleb Grill going against his former team.
Then Missouri got beat by Drake.
Missouri got beat.
Yeah.
So I don't know who are some of your top picks. Who do you think is going to go the furthest in the tournament?
That's the fun part about, I think, last year's tournament, this year's tournament. There's so many teams that are tough. I think Houston and Auburn are really tough. Cooper Flagg is healthy for Duke, so he's going to be playing. I would say, early in the year, Iowa State was tough, but Taman Lipsey's limping through. He just talked about, I heard him on the post-game show, that he's going to be doing therapy every hour on the hour.
Okay.
And without Keyshawn Gilbert. But, I mean, there's so many teams that could win it. Florida looks really good. And you can never count out the Blue Bloods, Kentucky, and some of those other guys.
Yeah. Although it was good to see North Carolina. I mean, they got into the tournament. They won their play-in game, but they got beat. So
Kind
a lot of people thought that they didn't even deserve to be there.
Kind of like Iowa State, they play the playing game. They won it. Then they lost the first round.
Yeah.
The
Iowa
women had
State
to.
women. Yep.
Yeah.
Jordan Hobbs was. We cannot stop Jordan Hobbs at all.
No, and not
Lucy-
related.
Any relation?
No
Yeah.
relation. I wish. She's 6'3", stud, had 28 points.
Lucy Olson was hard to guard too. She had 12.
Yes, not the Lucy Olson that plays at Iowa, but the Lucy Olson that's a freshman at Michigan.
No, it's Olivia Olson.
Oh, that's her name. Oh, okay.
And then number 12 for she played in the Olympics for Canada.
Oh, Canada.
All number 12s are awesome, right? Go
No.
Oh, okay.
Number 10.
Oh, that's your favorite number now, number 10?
Basketball talk with Toby. Talking with Toby. Well, hey, I think we should probably get out of here
I
for
think so.
today. We so appreciate Aaliyah Cooper from HLVTC Track. She was a great guest.
Yeah.
Aiden Reeves, fantastic guest.
Oh, man. I could talk to him all day.
Yeah. So those two, not a huge show today. We usually have teams in, but we had individuals, and they held their end of the conversation.
Yeah, that was great.
Very, very well. So we thank Aaliyah, we thank Aiden, we thank Toby for being a guest here on the show, and we thank all of our sponsors for making things possible. So we appreciate that. Jenny, appreciate you being our springtime host. Don't have anybody lined up quite yet for next week. It's a little early, but we'll get some folks lined up for next week's show, Saturday at 8 a.m. You can always stop into Barn Wired and watch the show live, or watch it on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to it in podcast form. We got you covered whichever way you want to take the show in. All right, I think that'll do it for this week.
Thanks,
All right.
fans.
Thanks.
Jenny, Toby, have a good week, and we'll see you next Saturday.